Hello and welcome to the How to Cite Generative AI video. My name is Dennis Miles, Reference and Instruction Librarian at the West Library at Texas Wesleyan University. In this video, we will be taking a look at what 3 citation style guides say about how to cite generative AI. These 3 citation style guides are, first, the APA style, second, the MLA style, and third, the Chicago Turabian style, hereafter referred to as just the Chicago style. Now, on to how to cite generative AI. We will start with the in-text citation. The APA style has you put the author of the model, then the year the model was used. In this case, when citing ChatGPT, the author of the model is OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT. The MLA style is somewhat different. For the in-text citation in the MLA style, you need to put in the prompt that you use to generate the response by the AI model. The Chicago style has you put the name of the model and the year. In this example, the name of the model is ChatGPT. So you can see that there are differences in the in-text citation for the 3 citation styles. Now on to the references or bibliography citation or foot or endnotes. For an APA style reference, you need the author of the model, then the date in parentheses, then the name of the model. Next, you need to include the version. The version of a generative AI model can be a date, as it is with ChatGPT, or a version number, whatever the model uses. Next is the descriptor of the model. In this case, it is called a large language model, and you enclose the descriptor in brackets. Finally, you include the URL of the model, and this is where you can access the model online. Next, the MLA reference or bibliography citation. For this citation, you do not put the author of the model first, as in the APA style. The first thing is the prompt used to generate a response. The word prompt to designate that this was the prompt used to generate the response cited. Next is the name of the model in italics, then the version, which follows the same rules as in the APA style reference. Next is the author or publisher of the model. Next, the date the content was created or generated. And finally, where you can access the model online, which is the URL of the model. For the Chicago style, there are 2 ways to create a footnote or endnote, depending on if you included the prompt in the text of your paper. If you included the prompt in the text of your paper, then you create the footnote or endnote by first including the footnote or endnote number. Next, you put in the words text generated by, and then the author, which is the model of generative AI that was used. In this example, ChatGPT was the generative AI model that was used. Next, you include the date that the content was generated by the model, then the author or publisher of the model, which in this case is OpenAI, which is the publisher of ChatGPT. Finally, you include the URL of the model, which is where you can access the model. The second method of creating a footnote or endnote occurs if the prompt hasn't been included in the text. It can be included in the note. First, you include the number of the footnote or the endnote. Next, you include the name of the model, which in this example is ChatGPT. The model is the author in the Chicago style. Next, include the words response to, and next you include the prompt that was used to generate the response of the generative AI model that was used. Next, you include the date the content was generated, and then the author or the publisher of the model, and finally the URL of the model. So most of the parts of the footnote or endnote are repeated in both methods The only difference is whether to include the prompt. So that is how to cite generative AI in the APA, MLA, and Chicago styles. Again, you should always check with your professor to see if he or she has any specific guidelines on the use of generative AI and how to cite generative AI. Here are some resources that were used to make this video. The Purdue OWL site gives good examples of how to cite generative AI in the APA, MLA, and Chicago styles. Here on this page are more resources that explain how to cite in the APA, MLA, and Chicago styles. But if you go to this guide, How to Cite Generative AI, you will find that it contains all the resources consulted in creating this video and the links to those sources. You can access it by using the URL on the screen or by scanning the QR code on the screen. This is a voluntary post-test that you can take to test your knowledge or to receive a grade from your instructor. When finished, you will see how many you got right or wrong and can also email or print out a certificate.